Hi, I'm Amy Mahali from Be Well Clinic, and today I want to talk to you about categorizing foods in a way that is hopefully really helpful to yourself or yourself as a parent to learn and choose what things to put on the table for yourself or your family. I've been talking about this a lot with parents because in our nutritionally depleted world, we really can't get away with eating a whole bunch of food that isn't nutritionally dense. And I've been trying to figure out a way, and I believe I've stumbled on a way, to categorize those foods in a way that makes sense, are very easy to understand, so then you can know which foods have dense nutrition and which ones aren't as dense in the nutrition. I have chosen 3 words for these categories. We have feeding foods, fun foods, and fake foods. So, fake foods are foods that are not real. They are highly processed foods full of dyes and sugars and processed grains and flour and sugar. We may choose to eat fake foods sometimes if we are at an event, especially if we need it for our mental health, which is an important part of your health, or your relational health. It would be important for the people you're with for you to participate a little bit, or your child at a birthday party to eat a couple bites of cake or something like that. So we don't think fake foods have nutrition, but we do assess if our body can handle those or not, and we think of them more as things that help the rest of our health, not just our nutritional health. Feeding foods and fun foods are both real foods. So feeding foods are going to be things like meat stock, any kind of meat, animal fat, eggs, fermented vegetables, vegetables cooked in stock or sauteed in lots of butter, high fat and high quality dairy products. Things like that are going to be more your dense or feeding foods. Fun foods are going to be things like fruit, raw vegetables, sourdough bread, rice. These are things that have some nutrition. They're maybe not a problem, especially if you're tolerating them well, but they're not a food that's packed with nutrition. You may wonder about the fruit and vegetables. So those do have a lot of nutrition in them, but not often available to our bodies. We need to cook them for them to be available often, or juice them. So when you juice the vegetables and fruit, all of a sudden the minerals are available and we can put them into the feeding foods a lot more easily. There's crossover. It's not exact science, but it's just giving you an idea of what could we do. We really probably should be eating around 90% of our foods and our nutrition from the feeding foods category. Why is that? Kids need it. This is obvious. They're growing so fast. They're replicating cells all the time in their bodies and growing inches sometimes in a year. They need a lot of feeding foods. And when we give a lot of raw vegetables or fruit or even bread, which don't have to be bad, they may not even be reacting, but it's going to fill their bellies up and they're not going to have enough room for the nutritional foods in the feeding food category. So we want to make sure that 90% approximately of their foods that they're getting are feeding foods. Or give them their feeding foods first, and when they are full, you can have the fun foods as a dessert, as a special treat, as a snack if they need it. It's not always great to do snacks, but sometimes we're doing them. So that's what we want to do. Adults, you're not growing as fast, but we break down a lot more, right? So adults need a lot of feeding foods to help keep us in repair. And we also have had a longer toxin exposure in our life, and so our cells are getting old and broken down just from age and also from the environment we're living in, the stress we're under. So we need a lot of feeding foods as well. So eating meat stock and soups, as well as just a grilled steak or a fermented dish or some cooked vegetables, always covered in animal fat, right? That's going to give us this feeding base that gives us the most nutrition. We can also use feeding foods to make fun foods more nutritionally dense, like using meat stock to cook rice. So we can do all these different things, but if you hold the category of mostly we need to eat feeding foods, then we finish with fun foods, and occasionally we eat fake foods. I hope that's really helpful for you as you are nourishing yourself and your family. And join us next time for finding out more about how to help your body and your children's body grow and be more healthy.